Alrighty, welcome to a brand new Flyers Daily for the 25th of February, 2025. Flyers Daily, as always, presented by Ticketmaster. Make more memories live. What do we got for you? We got a Flyers Penguins comparison preview of the game tonight. First of two, a home and home in Philadelphia tonight at Wells Fargo Center, 7 o'clock. In Pittsburgh, 7:30 on Thursday. And we're going to look at these two teams at how similar they are. Now, it's unfortunate that the Flyers and the Penguins are similar when both are the seventh and eighth team in the Metropolitan Division. But it is it's pretty crazy how the numbers match up between these two teams so far this season. Where they each go beyond this season is what will remain important. Flyers are obviously in a rebuild. Pittsburgh is yet to commit to that. And I don't know that their timeline is going to change with some of the contracts and extensions they signed. Not really Crosby. He's still performing at a high level. Malkin is not. Letang or Carlson. We'll see where they go. So we'll get to a Flyers-Penguins preview. We're also going to have a conversation with Scott Laughton. His name has obviously been out there quite a bit at the trade deadline. It seems to be just about every year over the last 5 years for Scott Laughton. I had a chance to catch up with Laughton from the Flyers Carnival this past Sunday, talk about the team returning to play, coming back from the Four Nations break, and a ton more with Scott Laughton. And then also in this episode, we're going to give you a little peek behind the curtain. The Flyers Carnival, it was the 46th annual this past weekend, and there's so much work that goes into it. And we see, I know a lot of you guys went to the Carnival, and I'm seeing the pictures and posts on social media, getting to meet whether it's Sam Ersson or Mishkov, Noah Cates, Scarlett Hathaway, playing ping pong with guys and just hanging out, seeing John Tortorella with the dogs and all the stuff with Hockey and Hounds that was there. And it's I think it's a huge, great thing for people to be able to have those conversations and one-on-one interactions with the people that you watch play the game on the ice, in this case with the Flyers. And we're going to talk to two people that are very instrumental in putting together the Carnival to make sure that the Carnival is always evolving, getting better, giving more, and talk about where the money goes, how it helps charities locally, which I think is really important. There's some great charities. So we're going to check in. We're going to do a tag team with Cindy Stutman. Cindy's been on Flyers Daily before. And Blair Listino, also an alternate cover runner for the Flyers. She's been on Flyers Daily together as well. And they're a big part of what is a huge team that takes on that undertaking of the Flyers Carnival. I was so bummed that I missed it this year. I wanted to be there so bad. I love going, just hanging out with all the different fans, and I like to see and witness those interactions of the players with the fans because of the look on people's faces and kids' faces and even adults when they get to have, 4 minutes just shooting the breeze with Travis Konechny or, playing ping pong against Sam Ersson. Like that look on their face. I think it's the coolest thing in the world. So didn't get to be there this year. I'll be back there next year, though. I will guarantee that. And like I said, and you'll hear me say this to Blair and to Cindy, I'm going to get the pads back on. We're going to do I'll do the shot on goal again. I had said that I retired and I hung it up, and I didn't do it last year because I retired from playing any hockey of any sort. But because of what I've gone through the past now, basically 6 months, and what I'm going to go through with this treatment, damn it, I'm going to put the pads back on, and I'm going to get in that net next year. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not letting you score. You're going to have to beat me. So buck up, work on your shot. You'll get your shot at next year's Carnival. But let's get to the preview. Flyers Penguins tonight at Wells Fargo Center. These two teams played not that long ago. Flyers and Penguins were this last game before the break, before the Four Nations break. And that was a Flyers 3-2 win in Pittsburgh before the break. That ended a Flyers 5-game skid at that time. Since the break, Pittsburgh has lost to Washington 8-3. Oh, man, it's a big number. And they also lost to the New York Rangers 5-3. Both of those games were at home for Pittsburgh. We're in Philadelphia tonight. And the Penguins come into this game with an .890 save percentage. Not good. And this is where the similarities begin. Because the Flyers' save percentage as a team this season, although Sam Ersson's got much better numbers, especially of late, is .884. So an .890 team save percentage for Pittsburgh, .894 or 894 for the Penguins. So not 884, not exactly at the top of the league. Each of these teams has played 3 goalies basically with the same spread of games. Erson's played 32 for the Flyers. Nedeljkovic has played 28. He's carried the most games for the Penguins with an 895 save percentage and a 306 goals against average. Jari's gotten 22 games, and Blomqvist has gotten 13. We saw Blomqvist in that game. The Flyers have 32 games from Ersson, 17 from Fedotov, and 15 from Kolosov. And they both have gone 3 goalies. The leading scorer for each team, for the Flyers, it's Travis Konechny, who threw 58 games, 22 goals, 40 assists, 62 points. The leading scorer for the Pens, it's no shock, through 57 games, 18 goals, 42 assists, and 60 points. So relatively close, connecting 2 points ahead of Crosby so far this season. Their second leading scorer, Ricard Raquel, has got 49 points. Flyers' second leading scorer, bit of a drop here, is Matvei Michkov at 39 points. And you look at the record of the two teams, Pittsburgh's played 1 more game than the Flyers. They're 23, 27, and 9, 55 points. Flyers through 58 games, 25, 26, and 7, and they have 57 points. They're tied with the New York Islanders for 6th in the Metropolitan Division. Flyers have 22 wins in regulation and overtime wins. Penguins have 22 regulation and overtime wins. Penguins minus 44 in goal differential. Flyers much better in that regard, minus 27. Each team 3-6-1 in their last 10. It's bonkers how these two teams, and it's why they're 7th and 8th in the division, how their stats and numbers kind of mirror each other. But the parallels are uncanny for the Flyers and the Penguins. But again, for the Flyers, it's about the future right now. For them to make the playoffs this season, I saw this tweet from Alexander Appleyard at AV Appleyard on Twitter, and he said the trade deadline is just 11 days away. It's a week from Friday. Flyers have 5 games before the deadline. Even if they win 5 straight in regulation, they have no chance to go into the deadline as a playoff team, a team with a playoff spot, albeit just at that moment. So from this point, the Flyers, he said, basically have to be a top 3 team in the league down the stretch to make the playoffs. They're 5 points out right now. There's teams with games in hand. You have to leapfrog a bunch of teams. You have the 3-point games. It is a huge uphill battle, not only just from the math is very difficult, and not just because you have to leapfrog teams and you have to win, you need the other teams to lose. It's also because they have to perform at that level of being a top 3 team in the league. There's 24 games remaining. They haven't performed at anything close to that level though so far this season. Can they do it in this final 24 games? The history of this season would tell you no. We'll see how it plays out. Weird things happen in the NHL, and teams pushes for the playoffs and coming out of 4 nations. Will there be some of these teams that struggle that they need to leapfrog? We'll see. But to ask them at this point to be a top 3 team in the NHL is hard. That's a difficult putt for me. That's probably too much. Even in my most optimistic mindset, that's tough. They do have Winnipeg twice coming up. They have Pittsburgh Thursday, then Winnipeg, Calgary, Winnipeg. Not easy. They have Seattle. Okay. Then you get New Jersey. Not easy. Ottawa playing better. Not easy. Tampa, Carolina, Tampa. Washington, one of the best teams in the league. Dallas, one of the best teams in the league. You still have Toronto to go. You have the New York Rangers to go. Another Ottawa. And you have some lower teams in that mix too. You have Buffalo. You have Columbus a couple of times. You have Nashville and Montreal. But their remaining schedule is not easy. So if you're asking them to be a top 3 team in the NHL over that 24 games, we'll see what they can do. I'm looking for more individual player performances down the stretch. Is Michkov, he had a great return after the 4 Nations break. He needed the break. And boy, was he insanely dynamic in that game against the Edmonton Oilers. And once again, what does Michkov do? He raises his level of play when one of the best players in the world is on the other side. I love that about him, by the way. I think that's a great trait for him, both short and long term. How does he finish the season? How does Noah Cates finish the season? Tyson Forster. How does Bobby Brink or Cam York, who's going to be a restricted free agent this offseason? How do those players finish? Yegor Zamula. Does Emil Andre come back up? Sam Ersson. Can he continue the play that he's had now basically since Christmas? Does he solidify and put that goaltending question mark a little bit to bed, or at least quell your concern a little bit? There's huge questions to be answered in this final 24 games. Can they be a top 3 team in the league? That's a tough one to answer for me. You're not going to like the answer that I have. So I look at those individual things. Jamie Drysdale, can he stay healthy and continue to progress? Big question. Who's going to be here after the deadline? Ristolainen and Laughton, are they both going to be here? None of them going to be here? What's the return? So many questions. But tonight, we focus on tonight. It's Flyers-Penguins. We'll see if the Flyers can get a win over Pittsburgh tonight and head into Pittsburgh, having beaten them in the last 2 games. We'll see if they can get the job done. All right, Carnival was this Sunday, and I was able to catch up with Scott Laughton. We did some virtual interviews. So here's my conversation with Flyers forward Scott Laughton. It is a special edition of Flyers Daily. We're discussing all things Flyers Carnival, and a veteran of the Carnival, one of the most senior veterans from a player side, maybe other than Sean Couturier, is Scott Laughton, and he joins us right now. Thoughts? How you doing?
Good. Been good so far. Had a little golf upstairs and back out there. So it's been good. It's always fun to interact with the fans and be part of it and see everyone show up. So it's been great so far.
Were you hitting it straight?
230. I was light. Not warm enough, but
you pulled 8-iron.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
We all wish, right? 238 iron. Lots getting back from the Four Nations break. First of all, how was the break? Is it a good opportunity to just reset a little bit and not only reset the body but the mind?
Yeah, it was really good. I think just going home and spending some time with family and like you said, get away from it a little bit. I think it's a long year. It's strenuous on your body, but like you said again, it's your mind and you're thinking about hockey all the time. So it was nice to get away, but it was also nice to watch some of your teammates in the Four Nations. I thought what that tournament did for the sport of hockey brought a lot of fans into hockey, and I thought it was great.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that can absolutely help grow the game, in particular in North America, and probably around the world. You saw a brand of hockey in that Four Nations that you don't see guys like Connor McDavid or Austin Matthews being played as physically as they were played in those Four Nations. Can the league learn something from this too, Lots? That you can have a highly skilled, very fast-paced league, but the physicality part of it is an entertaining factor as well.
Absolutely. I think the first Canada-US game, the first 10 seconds kind of just shows you that it is needed, and it was special to watch, and you see everyone talking about hockey, sports people throughout that are with football or basketball, and they were talking about our sport. So it hopefully it continues to grow like this, and we get more fans and more people coming. And but it was an amazing start, and then you have the Olympics the following year, and hopefully we can continue to do this and have our best players put on a show for the fans.
And a couple of days after calling the Super Bowl, Tom Brady's talking hockey. Like, yeah, that's it's a great game. I mean, that's the thing about it too. I think just sometimes people just need to be exposed to it in the proper way. Let's talk about your final third of the season, because you guys come back from the break, and going into the break, kind of what I was saying was all that matters now is the teams that respond and come back and get their game to a high level quickest, because not all will. You guys come back, you have a game against Edmonton, and obviously a very dangerous team, top team in the Pacific Division, but you guys come back, have a really good detailed performance, and you end up getting the 6-3 win. How important was it to get that first win in that first game against a good opponent for you guys to tee up the rest of the runway?
Yeah, I think it's huge. We needed to get off to a good start here after the break to kind of get back in the mix here. It's so close, within 8 teams fighting for a couple wild card spots. So you never know. We were in the playoff spot last year, and that went away. So hopefully we can make a push here. There's 24, 25 games left, and but yeah, it was a good start. We got some guys back from injury. I think that added a little energy into our lineup, and we just continue to push forward and try and win hockey games.
How important is the element of just having that belief in that room? That room has been rock solid over the last year or so. How important is it, all you guys, to have that not only belief but shared belief in yourself and the guy next to you?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think we've done a good job of that, and I think that's what's kind of carried us through the last couple of years is the belief in one another, and I think we need to continue that and continue to grow, not only off the ice but on the ice. We have a pretty young team, and you're learning every day, and you're figuring out the league, and it changes at this time of year. It's a lot harder. It's tighter checking, and it's hard to score goals in this league. So we need to have that belief. I don't have a doubt in that. So yeah, we're gonna have to make a push here.
Where do you feel like your game is? You've had great moments this year. Maybe the shorthanded goals aren't coming. You had a good opportunity against Edmonton to the same degree that you did a year ago. Is that success in scoring shorthanded kind of one of those things? It doesn't travel year to year because you're still getting the opportunities.
Yeah, I think TK and I have we've had a couple 2-on-0s recently, and haven't put one in the back of the net. 2-on-1s. We've definitely had our chances, but I think power plays kind of realize what went on last year against our PK. I think it was so successful to go in the other way. So it's a lot harder to score goals, but at the same time, I think we're starting to get our PK a little bit back. We went through a rough stretch there, and trying to read off each other and be better. So yeah, I feel like my game at this point is in a good spot, and starting to play better in the middle of the ice, and love playing with TK. I think we read off each other really well. So it's been a lot of fun playing with him and being back in the middle.
We're about to flip the calendar in about a week's time, a little less, to the month of March. Weather will start to change. Masters is getting closer. We talked about golf in a little bit. You start to get a little bit of, fresh spring air blowing in. Does that kind of give you guys a jump going, okay, this is a really important time? When the weather starts changing to nicer weather, non-hockey weather, if you will, we're getting really close to kind of rubber meeting the road.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the best time to play hockey is when it's nice outside, and you're coming to the rink. And I think guys realize how fun it is to play playoff hockey here. You see it with the Eagles and everything like that. So you try and feed off the energy, and it's the best to play playoff hockey in Philly. So hopefully we get on a little run here and see what happens.
Well, best of luck, Lots. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the carnival. Thanks for doing this. You guys back up on Tuesday against Pittsburgh and then Thursday in Pittsburgh. Have a great week, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great to catch up with Scott Laughton from the Flyers Carnival. Always like sitting down with Lots. Good conversation and a good man. He had his son out on the ice, I think 4-month-old son, yesterday at the Flyers training center after practice. Get him out there early, Lots. Attaboy. Get him on the skates. He wasn't on skates. He was carrying him around. But that's the first step. So thanks to Lots for joining us on this episode of Flyers Daily. Let's get to our next conversation. Flyers Carnival, huge undertaking. The evolution of the Carnival has been one of the key factors in why a Carnival that was started so many years ago in the mid-'70s is still so relevant today. It was a groundbreaking undertaking when it began back in the 70s, and it continues to deliver money to great local charities. And two of the women responsible for a lot of the organization, a lot of the legwork, along with so many countless others within the Flyers organization, the wives, girlfriends, and everyone else did a great job. So let's look behind the curtain with Cindy Stutman and Blair Listino. A special edition of Flyers Daily as we celebrate the Flyers Carnival Week. Flyers Charity is putting on a great event, 46th annual. To join us to talk about it, we've got a couple of ladies responsible for the success of this carnival over many years. Blair Listino joins us, and Cindy Stutman. How are you ladies doing today? Are you sane at this point early in the carnival?
I'm sane. I can't say the rest of the team is. We had a Sixers game at the Wells Fargo Center last night. So they got here at 8:30 and they haven't left yet.
Oh my
so, but
That's just
everyone has really high spirits. So
You know what? It's a good saint. It's a good crazy though, right? Because we're here for a great cause, raising a lot of money to support local families impacted by cancer and to grow the game of hockey and celebrate being a Flyers fan. So lots of good today.
you just like encapsulated my last 12 months in a nutshell. Basically, is what that did. And that's the thing, Cindy, because this carnival's been going on 46 years. It was revolutionary when it began. But beginning something and having success, sometimes they can peter out. Why has this carnival never petered out? To me, it's reinvented itself as we've gone along here.
I think probably the biggest thing is this is really an organizational effort, right? Like from the top executives down, from the players, the coaches, GMs, presidents, whoever sort of has been in place over the years. It's been important to all of us to continue, and we look to evolve it and make sure we're adding new things every year, but also bringing back, the great things that people enjoy doing. And, meeting players is normally the top of that list, and their game to literally play games and sign and take pictures. And it really, it's something that evolves every year. And I think that's what keeps it fresh.
Blair, that's the thing too. When you look at it, you've got to have the buy-in from every corner office and every element of an organization. And a pro sports team, there's a lot of different, elements from the player side to the business side to the marketing side to the community relation. They've all got to be bought in on this, or it just won't work.
Yeah, and everyone is bought in. I would say of any event that we hold here, even like Flyers games, this is the most attended event that we have. Everyone is here volunteering. Everyone, all the players, all the coaches, everyone is here to help out, and they're here to help out in a different way than how they're usually here. So it's nice to see them in that capacity. Everyone wants to talk to the fans. Everyone wants to give bucks. I mean, Torts is bringing dogs in today, so there's always something fun and new.
Yeah, it's a chance for everybody to kind of roll their sleeves up and
Yep.
get after the same initiative. Cindy, talk to me about the charities that this does benefit. That's kind of changed over the years, and the focus changes as the world changes as well. Local, very important, obviously, to the Flyers. But what are the charities that'll benefit from this great Flyers, charity carnival?
So I think one of the most visible things people will see right away is we are partnering with an organization called Michael's Way, who we have partnered with in the past and have brought back a program called Building Hope for Kids, where together with Michael's Way, Flyers Charities, and the Flyers Wives are currently renovating a house for an 8-year-old little girl battling leukemia and her family that we will sort of like Extreme Makeover Home Edition.
Flyer edition?
Yeah, Flyer edition, exactly. And we will reveal the house March 5th. So
Awesome.
funds from today and our other fundraisers throughout the year will go through to there. I think everybody knows Ed Snyder Youth Hockey and Education is a big beneficiary of ours. Living Beyond Breast Cancer is here. A lot of hockey organizations giving access to all kinds of people in all situations to play. So we have the Warriors here, we have a sled hockey here, a wheelchair power play team is here. A lot of different organizations that'll both help grow the game and support local families, that are battling cancer.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and obviously it's close to home with me, and what's going on next year. We got to get my wing in there, the colorectal cancer benefit, because I'm going to be there next year, ready to take this thing on. No easy fight, and nobody chooses this fight. But Blair, you guys see it firsthand, how much things like this and a community coming together. I'm a firm believer in strength in numbers. How much it can help people going through this and kids going through this. Pick on me, I'm an adult, that's okay. But pick on a kid, like those people really need assistance.
Yeah, it's been being able to support families in need, even we volunteered with the players this year at the Ronald McDonald House, and really being able to see firsthand the impact that we're providing it's a feel good, right? Like,
Yeah.
you want to do as much as you can for those local families in our community, right? Like, Flyers fans, we're all impacted by different things, and to be able to support our fans in our community, I think has always been important since I've been with the organization and since before the organization. My husband is a Delco. He was a season ticket member before I met him, and all of his friends have kids now. And I thought it was so cool. This morning, they're all texting each other saying, like, can you believe this? We're taking our kids now we used to go sit on our dad's shoulders and walk through the carnival. And now we're doing it with our kids, that it's continued through these generations, and it's just as cool. And it feels the same way feels for our kids as it felt for us 25 plus years ago, which I think is pretty impactful.
No doubt. It is multi-generational. That happens in 46 years. But the reason it happens is because of the sincerity, and maybe is the best word, that the organization takes with its ties to the community. You can't fake that. People in Philadelphia, they know BS when they see it. You cannot BS them. If you're going to do it, you better be, yeah. If you're going to do it, you got to be sincere about it. And that's why it still works.
And Jay, I'll just, if I could just add, when we talk about supporting families going through cancer, it's really the whole family. So yes, we have certainly programs for the actual person battling the disease, but in the case of someone with pediatric cancer, their siblings that are, have their own experience they're going through. So we are, work with an organization called Ryan's Case for Smiles, where they had sibling workshops. And there's organizations we work with that help, with the financial burden and, all of the expenses that people still have to pay while they're, battling this disease, like their mortgage and their rent and their electric. And they, fund grants to be able to help people pay for those household items. So we really are trying to use our support to really help the whole family and what the family needs, because the whole family goes through it together.
There's no doubt about it. And it's something that I'm trying to bring awareness to with my situation. It's not just me going through it. I have a 13-year-old daughter that's confused by it. I have a 16-year-old daughter. I have an 18-year-old son, and my wife, she deals with it every day, and how much she has to take care of me, the burden that puts on her, and the whole family and your network goes through it. So that is of paramount importance. And I think that's a huge thing that you bring up, and very important. Don't just check on the person dealing with it. Check on the people that are also taking the caregivers of the person that's dealing with it as well. I know you ladies have a really busy day. I really appreciate it today. I will be there next year. I promise you.
I remember you being in goal. It was my first year, and I did shot on goal with you. So I can't wait to have you back.
He promised me he'd be back in goal.
Yeah, I promise I'll be back. It's the first one I've missed in, I think, almost 26 years. So I hate not being there, but I will be there next year. So thanks for doing this, guys.
Thanks, Jay.
All right, there is Blair Listino and Cindy Stutman. Great for them to take a little time to join us during the carnival. And it always seems like the Flyers have a day game the day before the carnival. And you think that's great. They can start to turn over the arena earlier. No, Sixers played the night before. So you got to wait till the Sixers are over. It gets cleaned out. The hardwood gets put away before you can start to bring in the Ferris wheel and the carousel and the dunk tank and everything else. Pretty stressful, I'm sure. But those women and so many others, men and women, just did an amazing job once again. Great job by everybody. Stick taps across the boards. Everybody, thanks for listening. Flyers Penguins tonight. We'll break it down tomorrow. And Ryan Poehling will join us tomorrow. He returned to the lineup against Edmonton. Looked pretty good in doing so. We'll have that all coming up tomorrow on a brand new Flyers Daily.